Hello, good evening, everybody. My name is Lidia Epp, and I'm Polish. I'm also an American. I'm sorry, we don't have any teleprompters tonight, so I'll use my notes. I have a tendency to drift away on a subject, so I hope you forgive me peeking at my notes. I came to this country 23 years ago, and when I did, I asked for political asylum. It was granted to me and in about a year, and then 4 years later, I received my American citizenship. I was asked tonight to talk to you about how it is like to engage in any kind of political activity in a communist country. It is very hard to explain that subject to the people that are born and raised in a free country, in a free society where your God-given rights are exercised every day by that society, and I will try to do my best in 15 minutes that I have tonight. Poland fell under the communist regime after the Second World War, and that fact deeply affected the lives of my parents, and it really determined the story of my life as well. Some of you might remember Solidarity movement started in the 80s, late 70s, and the Solidarity leader, Lech Wałęsa. He later became the first post-communist Polish president. Solidarity initially was a labor union. It was funded by Polish shipyard workers in 3 major shipyards in the country. One of them was my hometown. Those workers organized themselves to fight for their rights against the unfair compensation and benefits policies implemented by the government that owned shipyards. They went on strikes, and they took on the streets demonstrating against the punishing communist policies of the government that implemented them. That message really resonated with the rest of the country, and before we knew it, the Solidarity spontaneously became a national anti-communist pro-freedom movement. I was a member of Solidarity movement, and I wasn't anybody important, just one of many ordinary citizens who decided that we had enough of communist regime, and we want to stand up and try to engage in a peaceful freedom movement. It was, however, easier said than done. There was no system in place to give regular citizens the opportunity to engage in any kind of political activity other than joining Communist Party and be in a total agreement with the government and its role in the Communist Party role in the politics of the country. So participating in demonstrations, although they were intended to be peaceful, carried a higher risk of getting caught in violent crashes between the unarmed demonstrators and very well-armed police. I used to go to those demonstrations with the intention to quickly retreat in the event of confrontation with police, but it was not always possible. So for protection from police, we would stuff in our pockets rocks on the way to when we knew that in the city hall, in front of the city hall, there will be a demonstration. We would walk there to participate, and I would eye on the street the kind of good-looking rocks that you can throw well, and just to slow them down. And believe me, it took me a few years to drop that habit. I still have a tendency of eyeing good-looking rocks when I walk by. So the most common outcome of those clashes was a lot of tear gas in the air and police beating up on the demonstrators. In many instances, people who got caught were detained, and that really translated into serious consequences at work or at school if they found out that you were participating in anti-communist, anti-government demonstrations. I remember one time I took my 4-year-old son with me to something that I thought was a peaceful demonstration. Well, it turned out to be much less peaceful, and there was a scuffle with the police, and my son, I was ready to leave, but we were kind of caught in the middle. And my son was 4 at the time, and he says, "Mommy, my eyes are burning." And I remember turning around to him saying, "Honey, you're going to be fine. It's just tear gas." I can tell you many stories like that, but we have limited time. The bottom line is there was no system in place for an ordinary citizen to address his concerns about the way the government functioned. You had to be 100% compliant with the communist regime. It was required that basically you remain silent. The only alternative to silence was violence. There was nothing in between. When I came to America and I was granted my asylum and later my citizenship, I felt as I was truly given a second chance in life. I could, and I literally had to, start all over again, just like I would be born for a second time. You probably don't know that, but Poland was and still is probably the most pro-American country in Europe. Poles had a very strong sense of freedom and independence, and the principles on which the United States were founded are very appealing to Polish people. Poland is in geographical center of Europe, and for centuries it had to defend itself from various countries attempting to claim and invade the country because it was such a strategically important point in Europe. So, back in Poland, when I was there, I grew up admiring America. It was the greatest country in the world where people are free and they choose to have their own paths in life. And when I was given that opportunity, I took it with a great responsibility and a great privilege. I never thought that I will again feel compelled to stand up and do my best to protect my country of choice this time, from overreaching government, but here we are tonight. These days, I see many deeply disturbing trends in our national politics that are indicative of building a framework for the communist government. The huge difference between then back in Poland and now here is that this time, this country, we have a system in place, and it's so important. You have the Constitution, you have your rights. You as a citizen, you have a right to peacefully assemble and petition your government. Take advantage of this right and don't take it for granted. Trust me, it can be taken away. Then there is violence or silence. I realize that, like me, many of you don't feel comfortable engaged in politics. You feel, well, it's just not my thing. I just don't know enough about the issues, about the process, and trust me, I feel the same way. The way I see it, that we truly really have no choice. We have to step outside of our comfort zone and do our best to influence the state politicians so that eventually the course of politics, excuse me, in our country can be redirected. I really see, excuse me, I really see that we have no choice. There is no them. We can't say, well, I will let them handle it. I really don't see any them. I think there is only us. And we have to find the courage to step outside of our comfort zone right now and do our best, because if we don't, there will be no comfort zone left for us to live in. It will be taken away from us by overreaching government. You may say, well, I don't like what our politicians are doing, so we just make sure that they don't get reelected next time around. I know it's hard for many of you to imagine, but what if your right to free elections are taken away and there is no next time around? What if today, now, it's your last chance to exercise your rights without the huge government hovering over our head telling us do's and don'ts? What if you realize how much you value your freedoms only when you lose them? This is so important that we don't have the hindsight is always 20/20 moment. We are all patriots, and that's why we are here tonight. I believe now that we need to translate our country, our feeling for our country into an action. And next speakers, I know that they will give you an information how to do just that. I suggest that you do take advantage of that, educate yourself the best you can, so when we are engaging in exercising our constitutional rights, peacefully petitioning our government, you will be informed, rational, and objective. America truly is the greatest country in the world. And right now it can really use citizens that are engaged and well-informed. Thank you.